Good evening, baseball fans. It is Thursday, June 20th. I'm Suzy, that is Tom, and this is Bourbon and Baseball Astros edition.
This is
Just
the
in case you guys
bourbon.
didn't heard. That is the bourbon. If you are audio only, tell the people's, Tom, if they're audio only, what kind of bourbon it is.
So I was in my specs. They redid my specs. So I'm like, ooh, okay. It's like a new store now. I need to go look around. I was looking for something to add to this assortment I have over my left shoulder because you do that. A buddy of mine put me on Crown Blackberry. I'm on the hunt for that because supposedly it's delicious. And if you pair it with Screwball, the peanut butter, it's a bourbon or whiskey or whatever, they call it a peanut butter and jelly, which is equally delicious, on my list of things to do. So in my traveling through the specs, I noticed this bottle. And for the audio only people, Ryan Bingham is a country music star, I guess you could say, but he's also on Yellowstone. I know him from Yellowstone, and he has his own bourbon. So I was like, I got to try that. It's an 80 proof and made here in Texas. So why not? So we are pouring it as we speak.
Good. So you pour that, and we'll see how it is. I actually have a peanut butter whiskey behind me, and if you mix that with cranberry juice, it also tastes like a peanut butter and jelly. So I have had that. It is semi-delicious. I only make a little bit of a face when I drink it. So, it's helpful. But away we go. I'm going to give you guys the rated R warning because this is a rated R podcast for all of the cuss words and inappropriate adult humor. None of the nudity because that's not what we do here. So if you have littles and you don't want them to learn new cuss words, new 4-letter words, you probably should put earmuffs on them and or listen to this without them. If you yourself are not comfortable with cuss words, then you should also probably skedaddle on out of here. And I have an Astros podcast that is PG-13, and that is on the Top Fan Rivalry Network, and that is called Astros in Orbit. And my co-host is a Dodgers fan. We will forgive him. His name is Bill, but very cool dude. But that is PG-13, Suzy. This is rated R, Suzy. And this is a little bit longer, uncut, unfiltered, a little bit more fun. But with that, away we go. If you did not watch the Astros versus Chicago White Sox series, guess what? We won a series. Hooray! We won back-to-back series. We've not done that in a while, so hooray for that. However, I am a little disappointed because we should have swept. We should have swept. And Tom and I are going to disagree on this. I am happy that we won a series. But again, if you did not catch my Asian Tiger Mom rant a couple episodes ago, I expect greatness from my baseball team. I expect perfection from my baseball team. Obviously, I'm not going to get that. We're definitely not going to get that. But I expected a sweep of the lowly 20-win Chicago White Sox, and I did not get that by 2 or 3.
Yeah. Sweeps are hard, folks. I've been saying it all season. I'm going to continue to say it. Sweeps are hard. There are plenty of teams that have played the Chicago White Sox team and have not swept them. The Seattle Mariners did not sweep them. So sweeps are hard.
The damn it doll is still very angry about that first game. So we'll go game by game and we will give you the overview. The first game, if you guys remember from the last podcast that we did, we told you that the first game was going to be FramberValdez versus Jonathan Cannon. And did I or did I not say that Astros as a whole, typically when we don't see a pitcher, he typically goes 7 innings, 1/no hits, because that's just who we are as a club.
You did
I
say
hate
this.
to say it, that I was right. And he didn't go 7 innings. No. He went 8.2 innings, 2 hits, no runs. And Framber got chased by the end of the 5th. Only gave up 2 runs, but that was the score. 2-0. 2-0, folks. We got shut out by rookie Jonathan Cannon, who had never gone longer than 6 innings. And they were even saying it on the broadcast that Pedro Grifol, the White Sox manager, doesn't really trust his bullpen, and he's gonna leave in his starters as long as the starters can go. Sure enough, Jonathan Cannon said, I got this. I got you, Pedro. Like, I can do it.
So the first thing I like to point out is if you did not watch this game, you probably missed the most animated I think we have ever seen Jose Altuve be in a baseball game. Suzy,
Absolutely.
known ball knower, all season long has pointed out how poorly the umpires have done our Astros. Who would like to think, give the benefit of the doubt, they're human, still have gone out of my way to point out how bad some of these calls have been. And when Jose Altuve, this is early in the game, and I think it mattered, when Jose Altuve gets rung up on a pitch that is around his eyeballs, if you are
audio only, go to the YouTubes, and I am showing you a picture on the screen right now of the strike zone. Strike 7 or ball 7 is where he got rung up on. And then the first pitch of the at bat as well was a called strike. That was in. And it wasn't a great at bat. Wasn't a great at bat.
And again, you just don't see that sort of animation from the Astros in general. All season, you've gotten a very subdued Bregman shake his head, Yordan stare off into space, Tuve just like wince in pain, Pena, who probably doesn't have the greatest appreciation of the strike zone, but still knows, hey, that ain't a strike, bro. And they're all just tired of it. And what really I think could have galvanized this team and maybe got them going was Jose Altuve coming out of that dugout and probably letting loose the most swears I think I've ever seen Jose Altuve say in his career in one instance. Not if you add them all up, he probably outdid that in one go. And then for the very next batter to get in the box and have a similar pitch thrown by an Astro to not be a strike, but a ball that was a better pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And to see Joe Espada get out there and point, and I don't think he has it in him to like actually spit on a guy, kick some dirt, but to at least see something. The battle was lost, but the war may not be because of that game.
So I will show you guys the. Let me see if I can figure this out. We'll show you how mad Joe Espada, or excuse me, how mad Jose Altuve actually got, because it was quite impressive how mad he actually got. I have never in a million years seen him this angry.
Like it's a whole gif already.
Okay, so no, we're not gonna. Cool, love that.
And that particular clip is missing two more that came after that. He let at least two more go after that.
It was super impressive how mad he actually got. And again, I don't think in my 4 or 5 years of watching Astros baseball, I've never seen. No, I take that back. Like one other time I've seen Jose Altuve mad at a pitcher that hit him. And I can't remember which pitcher it was, but maybe I think it was a Twins pitcher. And I think Carlos Correa had to break it up and say, no, it was an accident, blah, blah, blah. But I think that was the most mad I've ever seen mild-mannered Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve that gets booed and called cheater and horrible names literally everywhere he goes, that just brushes it off, just pretends he doesn't hear it. It was impressive. It was very impressive. And the next inning when he came back out, that's when he started chirping at the second base umpire. They were about to kick out Jose Altuve. And I don't think Joe would have come out had it not been for that. Because he's like, no, I'll get rung. I'll get rung. Jose, you stay there. You got to be in the game. You stay there. And the game after ours, the Mariners were playing. Who were the Mariners playing? The Guardians.
Gardos. Yeah.
Yep. And in the 5th inning, JP Crawford, their shortstop, got rung up and got tossed in the middle of the game. And Scott Service had to come out. And so it was going to be one of those things where the player was going to get ejected from the game. But also, you saw Jose Altuve come up to the mound and try and talk to Framber and try and be that
Vocal
mind
leader.
therapist. Yes, that we've all been asking for. Imagine the Carlos Correa coming to the mound type of thing. A little bit more subdued. However, this was the first time I've ever seen Jose Altuve lead this. And props, because you could tell that the wheels were falling off with Framber, because I don't know, that's just who Framber is as a pitcher. I don't know. But props to him for trying to get him back on track. How many walks did Framber end up giving that
I
first
believe
game?
it was 5.
Jesus Christ.
5 walks, 5 Ks, 6 innings. Framber's line, if you looked at Framber's line from a distance, said he went 6 innings, he gave up 2 hits and 2 runs. Quality start. It was how he gave them up that really frustrated Astros fans. If you watch the game, there was an inning where Framber walked the bases loaded and he was not close. And it was like all of a sudden he couldn't command anything. He could not throw anything that resembled a strike. They literally just stood there with the bat on their shoulders and go, I'm gonna wait for you to throw me a strike, Framber. And he could not.
I say it was like a normal Framber meltdown, but it's one of these things where I almost come to expect it now. It's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation with Framber, and I never know which Framber we're gonna get on the mound. And when I tell you that I legitimately don't trust any of our starting pitchers except for Ronell, this is why. Because I don't know which Framber I'm gonna get. JV plus his 41-year-old heart, but he's 41. Again, I roll out of bed and I have now cracked my back and sprained my ankle. HunterBrown has looked much better of late.
I think it's 7 quality starts in a row.
Yep. We'll get to Hunter stats in just a minute as well, but it's at this point in time, I trust Ronell. If you gun to my head and said, Suzy, who's starting game 1 of a playoff series, it would be Ronell Blanco.
Who was
In
not
what
in the
world?
rotation until the
Last
last
season,
day
exactly.
of the spring training.
In what world? In what world, Suzy? This one where where this is the starting pitching mishaps that we have. I don't know. I don't know. So I was very frustrated with that first game because it was I say imperative that we swept. It was more imperative that we won the series. Okay. It would have been a cherry on top, like a very big cherry, or like a buy one, get one free kind of deal if we had swept the series. It would have been that type of deal. But the fact that we didn't, it just oh. So it just a another test of frustration, another test of frustration, another that's not the phrase that I wanted to
Another
say.
dose.
There we go. And it's like the Astros season wrapped up in a nutshell was this game. So
So
the second game though. Oh, what were you gonna say, Tom?
something interesting that me and a coworker talked about that made me understand, I think, why the Astros have been so reluctant to work at bats, because I felt like this was a key to this series, was being able to get in their bullpen, which is, if not the worst bullpen in baseball, damn close. Like, they're very fucking bad. Like, it's not even a question. And
Mhm.
their starting rotation has some guys, which we saw firsthand, that can pitch very well. All three of their starters gave them quality starts, gave them a chance to win. It's that bullpen, able to get into that bullpen, all of a sudden you're able to do some things. And what a coworker pointed out to me, that I guess maybe I saw it and didn't really think about it, is that you're seeing a lot of these bad calls with respect to some of the umpires. And I think after so much, it takes a toll on you. I don't want to get to a called third strike. The best pitch I'm going to get is that first or second pitch, because they're filling up the zone, or at least I'm getting strikes called against me. If it's close, they're ringing it. So, what advantage do I have if not to ambush, which Jose Altuve has made a career out of, and so far this season has done very well, jumping on first pitch strikes and just going. The the other side of that coin is that, yeah, you may get 7 hits like they did against Cannon, but if they're all singles and you can't put them together, then you don't score any runs. So a theme in this series that makes a lot of sense is that they were able to out hit the Chicago White Sox in every game. But being able to get runners across has been the bane of the Astros' existence all season long, last couple seasons, right?
Risk
You call it our favorite pastime, leaving men
it
in.
is. It's our favorite hobby. It is our favorite hobby, just leaving guys on base. Why would you wanna
So
go home? Don't you love your home? No. No, I do not.
so I feel like a lot of these hitters feel a lot of pressure to A, dig out of this hole that they're in, and B, try not to get in a hole once you're at the dish, so that C, you can make something happen. And it's just not working. I think you saw with the
Mhm.
Cannon start, they got 7 hits, but they couldn't string them together. The Crochet thing, which we're going to get to, I feel like they got fortunate. And then today, I think there was a good mix of both. And when you get that good mix, then they can do some work. So that was just
Yeah.
something that we talked about, and it made a lot of sense. Why would I wait for this umpire to ring me up because he's going to give me a shitty zone, and then try to jump on the first thing that looks decent because I'm not going to get another one?
Okay, I could see that. Yeah, and even
This
in
is really
today's
good, by
game,
the way. Do
is
this.
it we're gonna give all of the free advertisements again. What's it called, Tom?
This is Bingham bourbon, 80 proof.
Bingham Bourbon, okay.
I think they make like a 90 or a 95 proof or something like that. Was a $40 bottle expects. That was a $50 bottle. And I said, I'll try the lower offering and then decide if I need to jump to the big boy stuff.
That's fair, that's fair. So, yeah, on the broadcast today, they were talking about how Joe Spada was saying that they needed to pass the baton. And how many times have we said on this podcast that they're trying to hit a 53-run home run instead of just moving the line along? And we say that out of one side of our mouth, and then the other side of our mouths are like, "But 7 singles are not gonna get it done." Yes. However, why are you swinging away with 1 out when you could lay something down and move a runner over? Our fast guys that are struggling right now, what are we doing? Just, "Let's get you a bunt hit." Sack flies are a stat. We appreciate the sack flies. Okay, the common fan probably won't, but the known ball knowers will appreciate you. Okay, and we will tip our hats. But it's one of those things where we need that good mixture of power and playing some small ball. And I feel like we rarely have that balance. We are either playing small ball or we are trying to, swing away. And it's never that nice mixture of both. The second game, which again, if we laid it out, of the 3 games, which 2 would I say that we would have a chance to win would be the Chris Flexen start, and possibly the Jonathan Cannon start. Definitely not the GarrettCrochet start. But again, the baseball is baseballing, and wouldn't you know that after giving up, I think the record amount of hits that he had given up before this game was like 7, and that was back in April. He gave up 9 hits to the Astros. I think it was 9.
Yes.
And got chased a little, I think probably earlier than they wanted, but that happened was great. What was the final line? Guys,
6
I'm old and I need to put on my readers, so excuse me while I just put these on.
6 innings, 3 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk, 8 Ks.
Yes. So it was a night for GarrettCrochet, but here is Diesel just doing his thing and essentially matching GarrettCrochet. And of note, Victor Caratini, I think, hit a single. Maybe it was a double. Regardless, Victor Caratini was on base. Coming home, he got thrown out at home, and he slid in awkwardly. And he was removed from the game because, of course, he was removed from the game with I think it's shin discomfort. I think is what they said. And I swear to God, if I never hear the word discomfort ever again in my life, it will be too soon. It will be too soon, people. And Victor Caratini, who was our catcher that night, because Yiner was DHing, CesarSalazar comes in, our third catcher. And wouldn't you know, tip of the hat goes to CesarSalazar for being a badass motherfucker. And this was his first career multi-hit game and multi RBI game in his everness. That's the phrase that I definitely wanted to say.
So not only did he receive our appreciation, but apparently a not new to them, but a new to us celebration, he received the player of the game belt.
Apparently think of the big ass like wrestling belts that they give out. It's one of those. And I'm all, why did we not know about this earlier? Because the vibes people, we're big vibes people on this podcast. We love the vibes. I love the gimmicky stuff. Give me all of the gimmicks. And I fucking love this belt.
So did you watch the broadcast today or did you listen to it? Because Julia spoke to it. So they asked because Hunter also got a belt and both of them at the behest of the clubhouse was told to wear the belts at their post-game interviews, introducing them. Because according to Julia, this is not the first time that Hunter has won the belt. And we have Mauricio Dubon to thank for these belts. This was his idea. He went out, he had them made, which if you didn't love him already, you absolutely love him now. And there's no scenario where Mauricio Dubon is not an Astro. So if you were like me who said trade him, I apologize. He will now be an Astro until he can't anymore, until he costs too much, whatever. But this is an awesome idea. I love that they did. If you got a chance to see the belts, if you didn't, they did it in English on the top, in Spanish at the bottom for Spanish speakers in the clubhouse. So now there is a belt for player of the game, offensive player of the game, or position player of the game, and pitcher of the game. And we have Dubon to thank, and it is not new to them, but it is new to us. It is a thing. We'll be looking for the belts henceforth.
I love it. I love it so much. I hope that they do a giveaway with these belts. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. So I wrote down a stat. Good Lord. Crochet had given up.
Glasses off.
Listen, I'm old, guys. I'm so old now, and it hurts my eyeballs. Crochet had given up 8 hits to left-handed hitters all season. And CesarSalazar, with 21 major league plate appearances, had 2 run-scoring singles against him. CesarSalazar, that was not supposed to come in. That was not even supposed to be in the game. Literally, player of the game. Kudos to you. My cat has decided that he is going to join the broadcast and wants to play with the little lens cap thing that is hanging down. Yeah. Yes. And so if you hear clicking, that's why.
And I will also take this time to apologize to any CesarSalazar fans or Cesar himself, because I absolutely did not want him to be on this team at the cost of Joey Loperfido. I said, why on earth would we need another catcher? Obviously, Tom needs to shut the fuck up because we did need another catcher. Because one of the catchers, obviously, was going to get hurt because everybody decided this year let's take turns getting fucking hurt for the Houston Astros, because why not? We don't have enough challenges. We have an entire world that hates us. You know what? Let's throw injury and substandard play into the mix. Let's just see if that spices it up a little bit. And they're absolutely doing it. CesarSalazar came in, looked like a dude that had no business being there, and all he did was find a way to get 2 knocks and some RBIs, which was much appreciative. Thank you, CesarSalazar.
So absolutely. I wrote down Astros playing small ball, and Cesar is the unsung hero. Those were my notes because in that second game, Jake hit a double, Cesar laid down a sac bunt, and then Chaz hit a sac fly. That is the epitome of small ball right there, guys. And guess what? It resulted in a run, and we loved it. We loved it. Loved it. HunterBrown has a 2.45 ERA across his last 50.1 innings. He has lowered his season ERA from a 9.78 to a 4.72. Do y'all know how hard that is, guys? Hats off. Hats fucking off, HunterBrown. If my hat wasn't clipped to my hair, I would actually tip it, but I can't, and then it would just be awkward. So just pretend. Pretend that the tip of the cap is going off right now to you, because again, that is amazing. And whatever two-seam fastball black magic you are now doing, did he introduce a sinker or did he ditch the sinker? I can't remember.
He ditched the sinker and introduced the two-seamer.
The two-seam cut. Okay. Hats off to the pitching coach. Hats off to you for implementing it. And his curveball was working too. Just all of it. All of it was working. And the fact that he was chucking 99 in there, oof, when he's got like the good fastball running and all the breaking stuff, you know you're in for a good night.
6 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 6 Ks.
6 Ks. I love that. That was awesome.
The other thing that we thought about Hunter that was really good is he is starting to look Justin Verlander-esque in the sense that you spoke to the 99 he got up to, but he did not live there. It was only when he needed it that he went up there. He lived more 94, 95, which looks eerily similar to what JV does when he's right and nobody can do anything with him. And then to finish a night a la HunterBrown, I want to say one of the hardest pitches he threw all night was a K to end the 6th. So you're getting that clone that we all talked about in year 2, which is a delightful thing. When you talk about Ronell being number 1, I feel like right now, based on what we got, Hunter is probably number 2.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, we had 12 hits in that game, guys, and the White Sox had 8. We left, let's see. We left 9 on base. 3 for 11. And
but very important, they did this without YordanAlvarez, without Kyle Tucker.
This is true.
I can't stress enough how hard it has to be to cover Kyle Tucker right now. And then throw in YordanAlvarez on top of that. Their backbone of your offense. If you took the 2 top hitters out of any other team's lineup, are they putting any runs up? Probably not.
No, that's why we didn't do it the first game.
That's my point. Like, it's asking a lot. And the Yordan thing was unexpected. So I think that probably played a role too. I believe that played a role in why Altuve was so animated. He knew he needed to pick up his game to offset the fact that you've got guys in the lineup that haven't seen the lineup all year. We're talking Cooper Hummel. He was in Sugarland a week ago. CesarSalazar. He was in Sugarland 2 weeks ago, whatever. Like, you're asking a lot from people, and this is the worst time because you really need these games. We spoke at it at length. So this is why you get Altuve in probably the most rage I've ever seen, because he knows. He's aware. They're very aware of where the hole that they've dug for themselves and they got to get out.
Absolutely. But like I said, guys, HunterBrown was awesome. And then we had the back end of our bullpen come in and do work again. But shout out Taylor Scott coming in that first game and he covered 2 innings? Outs? I don't remember. That was,
I got you.
2 days ago.
Let me find it.
Yay, Bryce String. But back end of our bullpen doing work, our middle relievers doing work. It was so funny. One of the Mets guys on Mets Twitter put up a screenshot of Taylor Scott today and was like, who in the fuck is Taylor Scott? Let me tell you about Taylor Scott.
So real quick, Taylor Scott covered an inning. Montero covered an inning. That left all the leverage guys available, in which you got Abreu for an inning, Presley for an inning, Hader for an inning. It's really the recipe. If you get 6 from the starter and then go those 3 guys, when they're right, when Presley's right, when Abreu's right, it's really not that hard.
Abreu has lowered his freaking ERA to like a minuscule 2, like a very low 2 ERA.
Yesterday it was 2.72. Today It is now 2-6-5.
Golly, guys. So today's game was also just an exercise in frustration as well. But kudos to the guys for battling back and doing the things that we needed them to do. It didn't look great though, because SpencerArrighetti started the game for us versus Chris Flexen. Chris Flexen is not a great pitcher.
We
Let me
saw
just put
him.
that out there.
We went and saw him in Sugarland. He was in AAA at the beginning of the season or late last season. I can't remember when we saw him, but we saw him.
It's not a He was on the Mariners, got DFA'd by the Mariners. The Rockies picked him up for a little while. Then he went to Korea and pitched for a little bit, and then he came back. And he should not have held the Houston Astros down. Let me just put it that way. Let's just call it a spade. But today's lineup, it started off pretty good. It did. It did. My cat just now sat on my notes, so you no longer have any notes. Great. I love that for me. So Spencer Arrighetti started off and did look good for the first 2 innings. Yordan, after not being in the lineup for the last 2 days, got to the ballpark, I want to say an hour or 2 before the game. Apparently took 10 practice swings in the batting cages and then proceeded to hit a 440-foot bomb on the second pitch that he saw, because of course he did. Yordan, because that's who he is as a player.
That boy good.
And then his second at bat. So I think the exit velocity for that first home run was like 110 miles an hour, 440 feet.
109 and some change, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The second at bat got a single off the end of the bat, the exit velocity being like 25 miles an hour, and it went 4 feet.
It was only projected to go 5.
So the fact that he can do both, get you a man that can do both.
Range.
All right. We love it. We love it. And it was 1-1, or excuse me, 1-0 for a little while there, but looked good. Like I said, SpencerArrighetti was doing all right, and then wheels kind of fell off. And if I could get to my notes, I would tell you where it fell off, but I can't because it is now underneath my cat's butt. So
JT says you can't see it anyway.
he does not want me to look at it. And let's see where.
So I can tell you where things got sideways. Things got sideways in the
The
fifth inning. And it started with a horrible play. Martin Maldonado, the man, the myth, the legend for half of Astros Twitter. They love him to no end. Who is a .090 batting average. With
it did get raised. It did get raised.
Well, they gave him the hit. Yeah. It was horrible that they judged it a hit. Wind swirling. Altuve's trying to chase it down. The dude probably covers like 30 feet to try to get to this ball. They rule it a hit, which I think probably should have been an error. Whatever. Sure. Anyway, it's a simple pop-up, and now you got a guy on first. Then I think Spencer tried to get a little cute, and he walked the next batter, and that's when the wheels started falling off, because now you have first and second with nobody out, when 5 pitches ago it was going to be 1 out and nobody on. And you can attack Pham, where I think he was really worried about trying to give up the lead. It's that 5th inning where you get to a point for Spencer that's normally the end of his rope. If you get to 6 with Spencer, he's had a really good outing so far. He throws a ton of pitches. So it just extended. Taylor Scott comes in to try to put out the fire, but ends up giving up an inherent runner, which is on like the 5th one all season. He's been really good. And they put up a 3 spot in that inning. And Spencer ends up going 4 2/3, giving up 3 runs. They were all charged to him. And the Astros are down 3-1, which felt like a mountain with as many runners that they'd left on all game long without being able to score them.
Yeah, because the top of the 4th inning, John Singleton worked a walk, Jake Myers worked a walk, and there's no outs. And then Jeremy strikes out. Is that the at-bat that Jeremy tried to bunt?
It was so bad. Yes.
It was a horrible at-bat. It was
a microcosm of the season, because he tried to play small ball, realized he couldn't do it, then got away from it, then tried to go back to it, then struck out.
It was also an exercise in frustration. Yeah. Again, 2 on, no outs. Jeremy strikes out. Mauricio Dubon lines out on 1 pitch. And now you've got Chaz at the plate, 2 on, 2 out. And of course, he did work the AB. It was an 8-pitch at bat, and he finally popped it out. After, let's see, he got down 2-2, and then he worked a full count. So I will give him credit. It wasn't this 1 pitch, line out, pop out, fly out, whatever. He did attempt, and I will give the credit where the credit is due. If you work the AB, and it doesn't go in our favor, I'm gonna complain a little bit because that's who I am as a person. That's why the fuck we have this podcast. But I'm gonna give you credit. I'm gonna give the credit where the credit is due. So that's what the entire game was. There were so many people left on base in these situations where there was no outs or one out. And I think I tweeted out 43,000 times during the game something to the effect of, why would we want to drive runners in? We don't like our home. That's not where we want to go. We're out here in the fresh air in the sunshine on the bases. That's what we like to that's where the players want to be. And then the top of the 5th, Jose Altuve walked. Alex Bregman singled. Again, no outs. Yordan strikes out. Yiner grounds into a double play. And you're just sitting there and the damn it doll is going full bore just on the table, and it is what it is, right? I think at that point, after the 5th inning when it was 3-1, I think I tweeted out something like, "Uncle Mike, can you come back and yell at the players?" or something like that. Oh, no, you know what? It was before the 4th inning because Jeremy Pena had that, like, horrible at bat where no, it wasn't. I get all of Jeremy Pena's horrible at bats confused in my head because there was one where he swung way out. Let's see, was it the 6th? Yes. So the top of the 6th, he takes a called first strike, fouls off the second strike, one ball in the dirt, and then he swings at a low and away slider. And right before this at bat, I tweeted out, "Uncle Mike, can you please come and yell at the guys?" After that at bat, I said, "No, you know what, Uncle Mike, just save your breath. It ain't even gonna help. Just don't even worry about it. Okay, you don't need to calm down."
The crazy thing with
And
Jeremy is I thought we were past this. He'd been so good early in the season about going, I can't hit that. I'm gonna lay off that. And now I think he'll swing at one of them and then really, depending on when he gets it. If he gets it early in the at bat, he'll probably take that cut and then won't take it later on. But if you couldn't
it's
do
his
anything
favorite.
with it last year, if you can't do anything with it so far, why are we even doing it? If they dot you up on the outside edge, you nod and you keep it moving. The fact that, and maybe that's just a maturation thing where he's got to recognize it better. But some of these
He's been
things
hanging
are,
out with Altuve. He's been hanging out with Altuve too long. That's what it is. He's been hanging out with Altuve, and he thinks, you know what? I got some good bat speed. You're not Altuve. Stop it, Jeremy Pena. I don't care how big your biceps are. I don't care how 1,000-watt your smile is. I'm going to get mad at you every single time you swing at that low and away slider. Okay?
the crazy thing is maybe that's a problem. Maybe he's too big to try to get to that pitch. You got to be skinny and wiry to be able to get extended.
Okay, then fine. Do that then. I don't care, Jeremy Pena. I do not care. But he has moved down in the lineup now
I
that
mean,
he's
up. He was up in the lineup.
up, then down, then up, and it's just it
Leave
depends
him
on
alone.
who's in the lineup. Bat him second. There's that whole thing. Then he's got Yordan to protect him. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
I want to say that
Um,
was today, right? He batted in the two, or no, he
no,
didn't
he
bat in
didn't
the
bat
two
in the
hole
2 hole
today.
today. No, he was way down there. I think he was in the eighth spot today. 7th spot? 7th. Yeah. So then their ace, Chris Flexen, I'm just kidding on that. Chris Flexen comes out of the game at the beginning of the 7th, and I don't know if that's when the Astros were like, "Oh, it's getting late. We should probably kick this shit into high gear," because that's what it felt like. And Mauricio Dubon doubles. Trey Cabbage replaces Chas McCormick, and then Jose Altuve singles. Now it's 3-2, and then Alex Bregman singles, and then Pedro Gafal says, "I have to change pitchers." So they get a pitching change, and then Yordan singles, and now it's 3-3. With the force out, now we have 2 outs. Cooper Hummel replaces John Singleton, and he reaches on a throwing error by the third baseman Lenin Sosa. That scores a run. Now it's 4-3. At this
And
point
shout
in
out to Cooper
time,
Hummel because
oh
he
yeah,
did that on 2 nights where him legging it out, just all out hustle, scores runs. Where you see some of the
mhm.
studs, and rightfully so. I mean, you play every day, not give that little extra effort. Seeing the young guys do it is refreshing.
We say he's young. I'm pretty sure he's 28 or something.
On this team, he's
Young-ish.
big.
So now it's 4-3, and they replace their pitcher Steven Wilson with Justin Anderson. No, hold on. Tanner Banks replaces Steven Wilson. Excuse me. That was before Yordan, and then they're like, "Okay, just kidding. Now we need to replace him again." And Justin Anderson comes in. Cooper Hummel steals a base, and now Jake works a walk, and Jeremy works a walk, quote unquote. We're gonna reverse just a little bit because the official ruling was he got hit by a pitch, and
I didn't
then the
know they
White Sox
reviewed
said,
that.
"Nah."
Yeah.
Yeah, White Sox said, "Nah, we're challenging that shit because I don't think that actually happened." And apparently, this is when I stopped watching on the TV and listened to the broadcast on the radio, and I was like, "Oh, am I the jinx? Do they not want to score runs when I can physically put my eyeballs on the game? Love that. All right. So all I could do was listen to Sparky and Robert Ford describe what had happened, and they had said that Jeremy Pena knew that it didn't actually hit him because Jeremy Pena is like coming back up the line and he's grinning sheepishly, and then he worked a walk. Hooray! We love that, Jeremy Pena. Thank you for laying off that low and away slider.
Because they sure
And
did throw it
now,
to him.
yeah,
They sure
Martin
did.
Maldonado was like, "Guess what? He can't lay off of." Now it's 5-3, and I was like, "So you're saying there's a chance? Please, for the love of God, can we just score more runs?" No, okay, but that's fine because we're here. We're here. We've got the lead. I'm okay. Also, shout out to Yiner for getting his first steal of the season off of Martin Maldonado, not being able to catch him.
And it wasn't even close. I don't almost think that Yiner knew what he was doing. I want to show y'all this dude's noodle arm right now because Maldi pulled that joker way across his body, and the second baseman was trying everything to get back and tag because Yiner wasn't there before the ball, but it was just a bad throw.
Yeah, it was delightful. And just the irony in all of this just isn't lost on me. Let's just say that. Okay. Brian Abreu comes in and strikes out Tommy Pham, gets Gavin Sheets to fly out. And he had his good fastball running today, or 98, 99. Here's my fastball. See if you can fucking hit it.
Good luck.
And it was beautiful. Luis Robert Jr. strikes out swinging. Earlier in the game, Luis Robert Jr. just biffed a catch.
Biffed.
It was right there. It was legitimately right there. I don't know if it was the wind or the sun or if it looked almost like a kind of like a mental error. Like he just wasn't paying attention and he just didn't catch the ball. So he
Actually,
totally missed that one.
it looked
What?
like he closed his glove before the ball got there because it hit the side of his glove. Now, all series long, the wind was pushing everything to right field. If it started here, it ended
Right.
up to the right 5-6 feet. So I think that might have had something to do with it, but you're supposed to make that play.
Yeah. Later on in one of the innings, he did. He made a spectacular diving catch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's gonna make that one, but totally just biff on the super easy one. Twitter was a flutter
Hmm?
with all of the video screen grabs, the shit, and it was
Like you
like,
do.
You want to trade for this guy? And I was like, I mean, yes, but
No.
And it's I don't know, maybe it's like the Javi Baez thing. Go look at Javi Baez's stats with runners on. It's insane. Javi Baez with no one on, you don't give a fuck.
Swings his stuff 3
Maybe it's
feet
that.
in front of the plate. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, maybe it's that. We don't know. Ryan Presley comes in. Ryan Presley cannot catch a fucking break, guys, because Andrew Vaughn got a hit on a ball that was like in the dirt. Ryan Presley threw this ball 43
Intentionally.
feet below the zone.
Yeah.
In no way, shape, or form, should Andrew Vaughn have been able to get this ball, but he did for a hit. I'm all, are you fucking kidding me? It had an EV of exit velocity of 84.3 miles an hour. It went 5 feet at a negative 15-degree launch angle. Can't catch a break. Can't catch. I was like, Ryan Presley, please do not do this to me. For the love of God, please.
Because the whole Astros, Ryan Stressley's here. He can't put anybody on base because the minute he does, it's shit. Is that guy going to
No.
score?
As soon as he puts someone on base, the blood pressure is fucking erased. Okay, immediately. And like I said, though, he can't catch a fucking break. At no point in time do you expect someone to be able to golf that out of there. Because sure, Andrew Vaughn, do that. Fly out, strike out, fly out. Thanks, Jesus. Ryan Presley, you got out of the inning with a 0. And then Josh Hader comes in. And I don't know if they said anything about this on the broadcast, Tom, but apparently Paul DeYoung, Josh Hader's second strikeout, was his 700th strikeout of his career. Did they say anything about that on the broadcast?
I didn't catch it.
Oh, okay. My good
Cool.
personal close friend Maria Hader, I saw that on her Instagram, and I was like, I didn't hear anything about that. But I was dealing with children asking me questions, and so I could have missed it. So if they said something on the broadcast about Josh Hader's 700th career strikeout, I apologize that I'm giving you information that you already heard. But if not, surprise, 700th strikeout. That's some impressive shit. Josh Hader, congrats to you. That is amazing. And I asked Maria, I was like, was it Corey Lee or was it Paul DeYoung? Which one was it? And I was trying to figure it out by the video she posted, and I couldn't. Now I feel dumb asking, but I'm gonna. And then Tommy Pham lined out to end the game, and now we have a happy flight. And we're gonna need that happy flight, guys. I need you guys to remember all of these happy feelings that we have right now. winning back-to-back series, you need to remember all of this because the Orioles come into town tomorrow. Are we so excited for this? Are we so excited? I know I'm not. I know I'm not.
I am. Nobody's expecting them to win. Play with the house money. Play loose.
That's precious. Let's
Is
just go
it
in
not?
series.
You hold on. Let me ask you honestly.
Uh-huh.
Who out of anybody expects the Astros to beat the Orioles when they come to town? At all. I bet you're probably predicting a sweep.
I mean, I'm hoping for one. I'm hoping to win one.
So when you play like that, when you play those teams, at least for me, if I'm in the Astros dugout, you know what I'm doing? The pressure's on them. They're supposed to win. We're not supposed to win. They're the better team. They're the third best record or second best record in baseball. And then they go out there and beat them. Like I do believe that there is going to be a hangover that the Orioles are going to experience from going to war with the Yankees because they sent a message to the Yankees. They sent
Oh,
a
absolutely.
message, and they may be like, "Yo, I'm spent. We put it all out on the field over there." And come into Houston, it's the Astros. They're not very good right now. Blah blah blah, and lay an egg, and flat out
Okay,
lay an egg.
let's go over the series. So let's back up and let's explain why Tom is saying that they went to war with the Yankees. Okay, so they just got done playing the Yankees, 3-game set. The Orioles walked off the first game, 7-6.
I thought the Yankees won the
Yankees
first game.
Yankees won the first one. Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah.
Yankees won the first one. The second one, Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole returned, and that's the game that they walked off 7-6. And so the first game, one of their, I think it was Albert Suarez. Albert Suarez, I think, hit Aaron Judge unintentionally on the hand. The Yankees took offense to this. I think Gleyber Torres also got hit in that same game, but the Yankees took massive offense to this. The second game, they hit Gunnar Henderson. So I don't know about the first game. I don't think those were intentional. Maybe I don't think that they would have hit Aaron Judge on the hand if it was whatever.
So
What?
I believe what I've read and what I heard in one of the spaces that you were in is that they took offense to Juan Soto running into their
Oh, they
shortstop
into yeah, nah,
because
third baseman. Jordan
third
Westburg.
baseman. Okay, their third
Mhm.
baseman because their third baseman got knocked out of the game.
Yeah.
Now I saw the play. There's no way that Juan Soto would do that.
Yeah.
But in sports, any reason you can find to say fuck that guy and be and
Right.
ratchet your level, you do it.
Yeah.
And if that's what Baltimore needed, okay. Now,
That's what happened.
one thing that I saw on Twitter because everybody was like, Baltimore's dirty, this and that, blah, blah, blah. However, the Yankees have hit more batters than any other team in baseball. The
Mhm.
Orioles have hit the second fewest batters than anyone else in baseball. So these two things don't jive. And for me, I think the fact that the Yankees took offense and went after Gunnar Henderson, because I do believe that was intentional.
Oh, yeah. That one was definitely intentional. At the
That's why
numbers,
the yeah.
fastball to the numbers, absolutely.
So the walk-off game was an extra innings game.
Mhm.
Orioles scored 2, and then Yankees. Because keep in mind, this whole series was in the Bronx.
Mhm.
So that adds another element, right? You got I don't have to tell Astros fans about the Bronx or their
Uh-huh.
fans or the Yankees. We've been there. We've done that. Anyway, so you got all of that going, and then they find a way to score 2. The Yankees try to come back. They can't. They only score 1, and they win 7-6. And then the
Yes.
Orioles
Did
whipped their member out and just said, "You had this coming," and
yeah.
ha
Nope.
ha 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 ha,
They
and just
said
yes.
they said, "Fuck you, Luis Hill." Did you
Who's a
think that you were did you think you were hot shit, Luis Hill? Nah. Nah, bro. Let me fucking put you on something.
Luis Hill was on his short list for me early season Cy Young. That's how good. 9-1. He got lit up today. His ERA is still 2.77.
Luis Hill has given up 7 runs in all of his starts. In all of the starts, he has given up 7 runs. This motherfucker put up 7 runs today in 1.1 innings. He couldn't even get out of the inning. Do you know how mad I am? Because guess who had 2 pitchers going today?
You stop it right now. If you're telling me that Hill was one of them,
I had Luis Hill and I had Ryan Nelson. Okay. So if I told you I had those 2 pitchers and one of those pitchers was going to give up 7 earned and couldn't get out of the second inning, between Luis Hill and Ryan Nelson, who do you think that would be?
Ryan Nelson.
Absolutely. No, because the baseball is baseballing, and Ryan Nelson went 7 innings today
On your bench.
and threw no, he got me points. He got me points. He got me points. I specifically picked him up today because I was like, "You know what? I'm hoping that he's gonna have a good outing," 'cause I knew, dumbass, that Luis Hill was a lock, as he had been the entire time I fucking had him. No, Ryan Nelson goes 7 and threw 75 pitches. I think he only got 1 strikeout. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I think he gave up like 1 run, went 7 innings, got me a quality start. Luis
Gave it
Hill,
all
like,
back.
"What are you doing? What happened?" And I realized that the Orioles are good. I know that the Orioles good, but they were just teeing off on this motherfucker. I
And
don't
didn't
know
quit.
if I don't know if he was tipping or if he held his glove a certain way. I don't know.
I don't think this is about Luis Hill. This is about Baltimore. This is about the Orioles sending a message. They only failed to score in 1 inning. So it didn't matter who they sent out there. There was one fortunate soul that put up a 0, and that was Canely. He's the only guy that put up a 0. Everybody else came in and gave up runs.
It wasn't great. I say it wasn't great. It wasn't great for my fantasy team. Let's just put it that way. All right. My baseball side fucking loved it. Loved every single stinking minute of it. The final score was 17-5. 17-5. Let me read you what happened in the second inning. In the top of the second. So in the first inning, mind you, they got a run. So now it was 1-0. Okay. So the top of the second, Jordan Westberg singled. Cedric Mullins hit a home run. I don't know if you know this, but Cedric Mullins has not been a great offensive power this season, okay? I wanna say his batting average is in the low 2s, like very low
197.
2s. Not even 2s, okay? So Cedric Mullins hits a home run. Now it's 3-0. Austin Hayes grounds out. We have 1 out. Ramon Urias walks. Gunnar Henderson singles. Adley Rutschman singles. Ryan Mountcastle doubles. Now it's 6-0, and they still only have 1 out. Ryan O'Hearn walks. Anthony Santander singles. Jordan Westberg gets hit by a pitch. 7-0. They finally pull Luis Hill. Michael Tonkin comes in and gets Cedric Mullins to pop out and Austin Hayes to strike out. I will hand it to the Yankees, though. They tried to fight back. They did. They tried to fight back. In that bottom of the second, Gleyber Torres hit a home run. I want to say Aaron Judge hit another home run later on. But in the top of the third, fly out, walk, double, walk, sac fly, 8-1. Bottom of the third, fly out, walk, Aaron Judge homers. It's 8-3. Let's see, top of the fifth, Henderson doubles, fielder's choice, 1 out, fielder's choice, 2 outs, error, throwing error, line out, there's 2 outs. Anthony Santander hits a home run. Adley Rutschman scores. Ryan Mountcastle scores. And now it's 11-3. I mentioned it was in the top of the fifth.
Got a
Top of
whole
the
half of
fifth
the game
inning.
left.
Oswaldo Cabrera walks. Anthony Volpe doubles. Ground out for Juan Soto. Now it's 11-4. And then Aaron Judge singles. Giancarlo Stanton singles. Ground out. And that is the last time the Yankees would score. Because then, and I think at this point in time, it's the top of the sixth. Ron Marinaccio replaces Tim Hill. And was it the first pitch? No, it was the second pitch. Second pitch, Austin Hayes gets hit by the pitch. And I definitely believe that win was intentional. Definitely intentional. So Austin Hayes is on base. Ramon Urias reaches on a fielder's choice. But then there's a fielding error by second baseman Oswaldo Cabrera. Gunnar Henderson in a force out. It's 12-5. It's just top of the seventh. Anthony Santander walks. Strikeout, force out. Austin Hayes hits a home run. 14-5.
You think that felt good after getting plunked?
And that was, let's see, on the second pitch of the at bat. There was only 2 pitches. And it was like middle changeup.
Or as Suzy likes to say, a dick eye.
A dick high, but it wasn't a dick high fastball. It was a dick high changeup. So let's see, top of the eighth, Caleb Ferguson comes in, gives up a ground out, single, double, single, 16-5. Top of the ninth, Jose Trevino is now pitching. Jose Trevino is their catcher, guys. Cedric Mullins doubles, ground out, single, line out, walk, single, 17-5. 17-5. Y'all, I was secretly hoping that the Yankees, it would go into extra innings and then the Orioles would have to dip into their bullpen, and then when they got here, their bullpen would be upside down. Obviously, that didn't happen.
I mean, it was. Their low leverage guys got used. So for whatever reason, their starter, Cole Irvin, only went 4 2/3. So they had to cover.
So Cole Irvin he's their 5th starter, essentially, and he gave up like 2 like hard hit balls. And what's his bucket? The
manager
for the Orioles. who was married to Joe Espada's sister, Brandon Hyde. There we go. The synapses are now firing. He don't play. You give up 2 hard hit balls, you get nope, you're out. Let's go. So that's when Brian Baker went in. Let's see. Y'all, the Orioles had 19 hits in that game, and they
And
walked 7 times.
they left 14 guys on base.
8 for 24 with runners in scoring position, the Baltimore Orioles. It was awesome to hear it and watch it, and only one guy in the lineup did not do anything. Colton Cowser.
That's crazy if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I would have had my money on him.
Let's see. So Gunnar Henderson went 3 for 5. Adley Rutschman, their catcher, 3 for 5, walked twice. Ryan Mountcastle, their first baseman, 3 for 6, 4 RBIs, 1 walk. Ryan O'Hearn, their DH, 2 for 5, 1 walk. Anthony Santander, 2 for 5, a walk and a K. Jordan Westberg, who is their second baseman in this game, 2 for 5 with 1 K. Cedric Mullins, their center fielder, 2 for 6. Guys, when I tell you that this Orioles lineup is ridiculous and deep, it is ridiculous and deep. And it is legitimately every version of white guy with facial hair you will see. I'm not even kidding you. Not even kidding you. There is Ramon Urias, Jorge Mateo, and Cedric Mullins. Everybody else is some version of a white guy with facial hair. When I tell you that I have to think very long and hard about the guys when I say their names to envision that the correct white guy with facial hair, takes me a minute. The starters for this next series coming up, Grayson Rodriguez, who is actually a Houston kid. I think he went to San Jac. What's the other
What, Stephen F. Austin?
SFA?
Stephen F. Austin? Pulling it up.
Okay. I want to say maybe it's San Jac.
It says it's from Nacogdoches, so it makes Stephen F. Austin
SFA,
more.
yeah. So yeah, Houston kid. So it's Grayson Rodriguez versus, guess what, guys? We get a call up. And I don't know if you know, because I'm not super familiar with his name. I've heard his name, but only because he has legitimately skipped AAA. JakeBloss will make his MLB debut after being drafted in 2023. So that will be very interesting.
So it says here this kid came straight out of high school, Central Heights High School.
Jake Bloss?
No, Grayson Rodriguez. Jake Bloss went to Georgetown.
Okay.
But he's
So
23
yeah, so
and he has phenomenal numbers at Corpus. Like
at AA.
Yes. He started 12 games. He has a 1.74 ERA in 12 games started. His record is 4-2. That is very good for a minor league pitcher. In 62 innings, he has 60 Ks with a .82 whip. So when you hear the GM, Dana Brown, gush about this kid, he's got reason to. These are really good numbers. So could he have probably spent more time in Sugarland and probably made those numbers sexier? Sure. Is he still incredibly young? Absolutely. He was a 2023 third round pick, number 99 overall, and he's 22 years old. That's a baby.
I am equal parts excited and nervous for this start, because if you will remember the last spot start that we had, Blair Henley, it did not go great. It did not go great. But I have hope / faith in Dan Brown and our guys. Fingers crossed. We do the things that we need to do and just get all of the runs. Hopefully Grayson Rodriguez will not have it. I don't know if that is an actual thing, because he has an 8-2 record with a 3.2 ERA. Don't know. We shall see. But there will probably be a very big Grayson Rodriguez fan base at Friday night's game.
Where Jake Bloss's whip, which is walks, hits per innings pitched, is .82. Grayson Rodriguez is a 1.223. 70 innings, 77 Ks with a 3.20 ERA. So you can get to him.
So just for a baseline, 1 is the baseline, and anything below 1, very good. And then essentially the higher you get after 1, I say not the worst, you get the scale. That is Friday night. So again, we shall see how that ends up. Saturday is Corbin Burns versus Ronald Blanco. And then Sunday is Albert Suarez versus Framber. So Kyle Bradish, which is the Orioles' number 2 pitcher, just went down with Tommy John. The Orioles also have been dealing with a great range of pitcher injuries. John Means also went down for them. Dean Kramer, I think, is coming off of the IL shortly. but they've been doing it, and we say that this is the reason why we haven't been winning because of our starting pitching. But guess what? Other clubs have not been doing it as well. But we shall see how that fares for us. And like Tom said, hopefully the Orioles will be tired from their hit parade and maybe not give Grayson all of the run support.
Lord knows when the Astros score that many runs, they do absolutely zero the next day. So for them to get on a plane from New York, fly down to Houston, and play the next day after putting up all of that offense, I could absolutely see a scenario where this young kid who's doing very well comes in, gets to the first couple innings, builds some confidence. You get Grayson, who I just looked up his last 5 starts. He's given up runs in every start this season, with the exception of the first one. And the Angels hung 7 runs on him. So it is not out of the realm of possibility that you can get to Grayson Rodriguez. Now, the beauty of the team that he plays for is he gets all the run support from these monsters. The last game, he won 13-4. The game for that, 5-2. The game for that, 9-4. The game for that, 11-3. So they just went out and scored all the runs. So he's going to give you runs. You just have to stop that vaunted Orioles offense from scoring 11 bajillion runs.
Yeah. Now, remember, this was also the lineup that I told you guys that I want to say 7 or 8 of their guys have a WRC plus of 120, baseline being 100. So 7 or 8 of their guys are 20% better than your average baseball player. That's not a normal thing, guys. Typically, you got 3, 4 maybe, and then everybody else is average to below average, not the Orioles.
To make you also hopefully give you hope, Jake last start for Corpus combined. No, he went. Is that? Here we go. He went 6 1/3, and he struck out 6.
Nice. Listen, I don't even care about K numbers. Use the infield defense behind you. Be efficient. And don't give up runs. And don't give up walks. That's really SpencerArrighetti's problem, is the walks. Okay. Walks kill. Let's not do that. Don't give them free passes. So if you can get a guy to give you a pop-up on the first pitch, take that. Do that. Don't go for the strikeout. So we are going to wrap it up. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the Astros keep doing the things, because we have sole possession of second place in the division, guys. Hooray!
Ladies and gentlemen, I tried to keep her from the standings. I wasn't going to talk about it. I can't do it. I've tried my hardest to go any which way but the standings, and here they come.
It's happening. It's happening. We are in second place, all by our onesies in the AL West, but that means that we're 8 games back. But whatever, the Guardians took 2 from him. Hooray. Good on you, Guardians. We love that. The Rangers also lost. And so now we are 8 games back. Rangers are 8.5 back. Angels are 13.5, and the Oakland Athletics are 16. Wildcard, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just 5 spots back. That's okay, right? We're 6 games back from a wildcard spot. So fingers crossed, guys, that we just keep winning series and sweeping when we can. Fingers crossed, hopefully. And the Mets lost. The Grimace Mets lost. So hopefully when we go to New York next weekend, the Grimace Mets will not be there. And it will be like the old Mets that lose. Because that would be great. I would love that for sure. With that said, Tom, tell the peoples where they can find you on the interwebs.
At Third Coast Tom on Twitter. It's where I do the most of my shenanigans. It is not X for me. I don't think it's X for Suzy. I don't think it'll ever be X. It is Twitter, and there are tweets, and that's what it is. At TCTom1 on Instagram. Occasionally I dabble over there. I mean, not zero content, but just not the same level of excitement, because all the news seems to flow through Twitter, and that's where everybody gets their news. Also, if you are not doing those social media things, the PSF app is a thing that I would much like to introduce you to if you are not already on the PSF app. It is a great place to watch the game. If you are not going to the game, it is a great place to now do peer-to-peer wagers. They have this great system called Duels, where you pick a stat, you pick 2 players. I think my player is going to be better than your player. You put down a certain level of cash, and it's a lot of fun. It gives you something else to be interested in. And then if you didn't already know, Suzy and I are a team on the PSF app, and hopefully you will come join us to watch games with us, because it's a blast. Win, lose, or draw,
A lot of fun.
they are always good. There's always a little bourbon or a little bitch beer or something that we are sipping on, and we are watching these games, and it is going to be a good time. I promise you'll enjoy it. Come hang out on the PSF app with us.
For sure. I will be actually at the game in person on Saturday. So if you see me in person, just wave from afar. Don't come up and talk to me because then I turn into a blabbering idiot. I
Ask
don't know
for
how
all
to.
the selfies and tag me on all of them, please.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I will turn into an awkward person and not know what the fuck to do with my hands. I'll turn into Ricky Bobby, is what I'm telling you. But I'm just kidding though. But really though, if you are at the game Saturday, please come up, say hi. And then Sunday, if any of you are going to the Sunday game, that is Princess Day. And if you do not want your princess crown, I have 2 tiny princesses that would love the crown. Okay, just to be aware of that. And if that's not something that you want, let me know, and I will gladly take it off your hands. Maybe I will even exchange money for it. I don't know. So just let me know on that. I would really appreciate that. If you have not given us 5-star rating, what are we doing? Okay. Give us all the 5-star ratings. Give us all the nice words in a review. If you've not hit the red subscribe button on the YouTubes, go and do that. We would appreciate that. Share it out. We've been doing the YouTube shorts, and I finally just uploaded shorts to TikTok, and that's literally all I've been doing. And so if you are on TikTok, you can go find that same content over there. I think it's Bourbon and Baseball Pod, I think is the TikTok name. And if you are not, again, on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook and you only doom scroll TikTok, guess what? You can find us over there now too. Look at me trying to be all young and hip. With that said, we are going to wrap it up and say, yay, baseball.